Okay, so good evening, everyone. So today, this is the first lecture in the entire playlist of Cambridge AS level pure mathematics. Okay, so in this entire playlist, we will cover all the chapters from the standard textbook that you must be using in your schools. So we will see all the chapters one by one. So the first chapter that is in your textbook is quadratics. Okay. So first we will see what do we mean by quadratics, and then we will see how we actually go on and solve these quadratic equations. Okay. So as you can see that our topic is the topic that we are studying is quadratics. Okay. So let me choose a little bit bold one. Okay. So in mathematics, quadratic equations actually come from a large family, and that big family is known as polynomials. Okay. So it is one member of a large family, that is family of polynomial. Okay. So it is not that much important for you to actually see what polynomials are. We will see them when we proceed further. But for now, you can just simply understand that any quadratic equation is just a member of this big family, that is family of polynomial. Okay. So it will depend on the degree of that polynomial. For example, if the polynomial has degree 2, has degree equal to, then that particular polynomial will be known as quadratic polynomial. Okay. So a general degree 2 polynomial looks something like this. It is ax square plus bx plus c. Okay. So this is a general member where the degree is 2. Okay, so this you can see, this is the highest degree, it is 2. Okay. This term is known as degree of polynomial. Okay, but right now do not worry much about this degree and all this terminology, but this is pretty much intuitive that the highest power that is present inside this polynomial is 2, that you can see here. Okay, so this is the highest power. Okay, so the highest power or the highest degree you can say is 2. So this degree 2 polynomials are known as quadratics. Okay, this is known as quadratics. So now you have understood that what is a quadratic, and since now for example this is expression. Okay, so in mathematics you must know the difference between expression. So there are these two terms, one is expression, another one is equation. Okay, so these are two standard terms used in mathematics. So if some, this is an expression. For example, this that I have right now here. Let me choose this highlight. Okay. So this entire thing. This is an expression. X square plus bx plus c. This is an expression because it is not equated to something, and it will become an equation only when you will equate it to something. For example, if I want to write a quadratic equation, then our general quadratic equation will be something like this. So let me show you a general quadratic equation. Let me raise this thing entirely. Let me go and choose the, sorry. So let's choose a board. Okay. So now let me write quadratic equation. So general form of quadratic equation be like this: x square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So now since this expression, x square plus bx plus c, this is equated to something. It is equated to 0. That's why this is known as, now it is no longer an expression. It has become quadratic equation. Okay. So what it is? It is it is a it is a quadratic equation. Okay. Because it is equated to something. And this coefficient, for example, here the coefficient of x square is b. Here it is the coefficient of x is b, and the coefficient here is c. So all these coefficients a, b, and c, they are real numbers. Okay, so they belongs to a set of numbers known as real numbers. Okay, so this is the notation for real numbers. But right now, do not worry much about what this real number is. But let me tell you that the union of rational and irrational, it the entire union of rational number and irrational number is known as your real number. Okay, so now you know that this ABC, they are actually the member of your real number. This A, B, and C, they belongs to real number. So this is the theory part, that what a quadratic equation is, the coefficient belongs to which number system. But now the main thing that we use in our day-to-day life mathematics is the methods by which we usually solve the quadratic equation. Okay, so method that we will be using is, it will go like this. For example, this is a general quadratic equation that is written over there. Okay, so it is 6x square plus 5 is equal to 17x. So in order to solve this quadratic equation, first we will bring this equation in the standard form, and I have already told you what is the standard form. It is this: ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is the standard form. Okay, so first we will bring this equation into standard form. So we will simply perform some of the basic mathematical operation that you studied. So what I will do, I will first bring this 17x term in the left hand side. Okay, so because this 17x term has come from right hand side to left hand side, the sign has become negative. Okay, this negative you can see. Okay, here it is negative sign. Okay, but this will imply what? Again we will rearrange. Right now we have three terms here, so we will rearrange so that after x square term we should have x term like this. Okay, so we will we will write it 6x square, then minus 17x to come, then plus 5 is equal to 0. So this is the second step. So now this is the standard form of a quadratic equation where the highest degree term has come first, then after that it is in descending manner. Okay, so degree term is 2, then here it is 0. Okay, so in order to solve this quadratic equations, this you have already studied in your IGCSE level, that we will use a method known as splitting the middle term. Okay, so the method that we will use is splitting the middle. Okay, so in this method what we will do is, we will choose two numbers such that their sum, we will choose two numbers, A and B, such that this is the standard abbreviation in mathematics for such that their summation, when we add them, it becomes minus 20. But when we take their product, that is when A is multiplied by B, the value becomes 5. Okay, So this is the criteria that when we add them, the value is minus 17, but their product is, sorry, the product is not 5 actually. Product should be, the product should be, mm, let me choose. Okay. So the product should be, it should be 30. Okay. The product should be 30 because see, in this splitting the middle term method, we actually take the product of these two factors, the first term and the last term. So the first term is 6, that is the coefficient of x is 6, and the last term is 5. Okay. So let me choose some color and then it will be more clear. Okay. So in this splitting the middle term method, what we do, we actually take the product of these two terms. The first term is the coefficient of x square, then the last term, that is our constant term. Okay. So the product of these two number, the product of these two number, it will come here. Okay. It is this 30 and this minus 17. This is the coefficient. This is the coefficient of our x term. Okay. This is the coefficient of our x term. Okay. So this minus 17 is the has come here. Okay. So now our requirement is to choose two numbers a and b such that when I take their addition, the value becomes minus 17, and when I take their product, the value has become 30. Okay. So now uh, this we have to actually, the numbers are not larger, so that in this case, most probably we can actually by trial and error method in mathematics, trial and error method. With the help of this method, we actually can find this a and b. So what can be these two numbers? For example, mm, minus 17. So if what are two numbers which when I add them up, I get minus 17. Okay. So this you should be able to find that which are two numbers. Okay. So this is not that much easy in all the cases, that we should be actually knowing that what is the product, what are those two numbers which when we take the product, it becomes 30, and when we add them up, it becomes minus 17. Okay. So let me tell you in advance that it is not that much easy. Okay. Sometimes by trial and error method, we can get those numbers within seconds, but sometimes it is so difficult that it is not practically possible to find these two numbers in a short period of time. Okay. So in order to resolve such query, we have a very general method of solving these quadratic equations, but we will see that we will see later. Okay. So the numbers which will do good in this question, those two numbers are actually, but let me tell you in very advance that it is not that much easy. Okay. Saying is easy, but finding them is not that much easy in this particular case. But those two numbers for this particular example is when you take a equal to minus, and when you take b equal to minus. So these two numbers will work in this particular example. Okay. But we will see that there is a more general method that is usually used by all the working mathematician. Okay. They do not go very often by this method because you can understand that it is not pretty easy to find these numbers randomly. Okay. But in this case, I'm telling you that, but this values are a is equal to minus 2, b equal to minus 15. Okay. So the next step is we will write this entire equation. Okay. So now in the very second, 6x square write this minus 17x as sum of these two terms plus phi. If phi equal to 0, then in the next step what it will become, I can take 3x common. Okay, so it will become 2x minus 5 when I take 3x common from these two terms. Okay, these two terms. Then I take minus 1 common, then it will become 2x minus 5 equal to 0. That is the correct thing. Okay, okay, because when I will take this minus 7, this minus 2x, this when this minus 1 will multiply with, and when this minus 1 and this minus 5 multiplied, it will become this plus 1. Okay, so now okay, so now we have pretty much done this entire. So now this step is that this will become 3x minus 1. Okay, 3x, because this 3x part is there, and the next term is this minus 1, and it will be multiplied with this 2x minus 5. Why? Because this 2x minus 5 term, this 2x minus 5 term is common in this entire equation. Okay, so that can be taken outside and this will become 0. Okay, so till this point you have already studied this method in your IGCSE level, so we are just revising this concept. So since now you have arrived at this particular equation, so now let me show you the crux of the idea that why your subject is known as pure mathematics. So what the IGCSE level will do, then he will write this step. Okay, he will write what, then it means that either 3x minus 1 equal to 0, which will give him or her the solution that x equal to by 3. So this is the first solution. Or or what is the second step? It is 2x minus 5 equal to 0, which will give the solution to be. So yes, I am saying that yes, both of these is accurate. Okay, and the answer is that one solution, another one is 5 by 2. But now since you are studying physics, you should know that why we are writing the why we can write this step. Okay, it is not always that if the product of two numbers is 0. Okay, so what I am saying that if the product of two number is 0, it is not always correct to say that both of those two numbers are 0. Okay, but right now we will not go to that much higher level. The only thing you should understand at this point is if these two numbers are real number, that 3x minus 1 when the value of x is substituted. Similarly, 2x minus 5 it will be a real number when some value of x is substituted. Okay, so the next step that you should understand is that if the product of two number is 0, these two numbers p and q is 0, where p and q are real numbers. Okay, so it implies that at least one at least one both of them are 0. And understand this meaning or here. In mathematics, this or has inclusive sense. Inclusive sense. It means what? That the value of p and q, it is not that if p is 0, then q cannot be 0. This or captures the idea that the value of either p is 0 or q is 0, both p and q both can be simultaneously 0. Okay, so this is the meaning of or in mathematics. We will see this or when we are taking, when you have already studied this mode of when you have studied some sort of theory where you take A union B means the set of all those elements which belongs to either to A or to B or to both. Okay, so this is the crux of this or, that includes this both possibility. Okay, so we are at this step that when the two number is 0, then either at least one number must be 0. Okay, so I will write next step as when. Okay, so our next is Let me erase this thing here. Yes, yes. Select it. Okay, so the when product of two number is zero, at least one should be zero. So this was the idea. So by this idea, we can write that either 3x minus 1 equal to 0, which implies that x equal to 1 by 3. So this is the first solution, this is the first solution. And similarly, or we have 2x minus 5 equal to 0, which implies that x is equal to 5 by 2. So this is our second solution. Okay. So with this method, we have obtained two solutions. Okay. So our solutions or the value of x is solution is that x equal to 1 by 3, x equal to 5 by 2. Okay. So you can write this quadratic equation in factorized form in the form of basic x minus 1 by 3 multiplied by x minus 5 by 2 equal to 0. Okay. So this is the solution for this particular quadratic equation. Okay. So this the whole idea of this lecture was not to tell you how to solve this quadratic equation. Actually, you have already studied this in your IGC level. The crux of this lecture that this idea right here, that when the product of two number, this idea that when the product of two number is equal to 0, then at least one of them should be 0, and only after that you are allowed to write this portion. Okay. So this is the reason, that's why your subject is known as pure mathematics. Okay. So this is the reasoning that you have got from the understanding of pure mathematics, that when the product of two real number, and it is very much important that these two numbers p and q belongs to real numbers. Okay. So when the product of two real number is 0, either one of them is equal to 0. Okay. And the secondary thing was that we have arrived the solution of this quadratic equation. So I am ending this lecture right now, and I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you very much.